for peace, economic development and integration. This appeal came during the 2025 African Border Day celebration held today in Abuja. In a keynote address, Director General of the National Boundary Commission, Subeya Adamu Adaji, underscored the urgent need for African nations to rethink their approach to borders, arguing that good fences make good neighbors. This year's theme, building border community resilience and economic development through cross-border cooperation, aligned with the African Union's overreaching focus on justice and reparations for Africans and people of African descent. Adaji stressed the colonial borders, which were previously seen more as barriers of separation and zones of confrontation occasioned by disputes and conflicts, are now increasingly being turned to bridges of cooperation and integration between nations. Nigeria, he noted, has already ratified the African Union's Niamey Convention on Cross-Border Cooperation, a framework designed to promote development and peace across shared borders. The African Border Day, established by the AU in 2010, is commemorated annually to raise awareness of the role borders play in the continent's peace and development agenda.
Meanwhile, deputy governors from border states today raised alarm over persistent insecurity, poor investment, and inadequate support for cross-border development initiatives. They spoke at the 2025 African Border Day celebration in Abuja with the theme, Building Border Community Resilience and Economic Development Through Cross-Border Cooperation. The Deputy Governor of Sokoto State and Chairman of the Niger International Border Platform, Idris Gobir, spoke about insecurity and the failure to adequately secure Nigeria's borders, particularly in the north. He criticized the country's inability to prevent arms and militants from entering through its borders. Gobir noted the presence of armed groups along the Nigerian side of the border, saying they're all living along the Nigerian border. He called on the National Boundary Commission to act.
Residents of Lafiaji in the Edu local government area of Kwara State took to the streets today to protest against what they described as the worsening insecurity in their communities. They lamented that they had been faced with repeated cases of kidnapping and killings. The protesters, predominantly youths from the area, voiced frustration over what they termed government inaction in the face of continued violence. They were seen in a video clip chanting solidarity song and waving placards demanding urgent intervention to curb the bloodshed and abductions disrupting daily life. The irate youths also set fire to the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency NDLA office in Lafiaji and vandalized the palace of the Emir of Lafiaji, smashing windows and damaging parts of the building. The unrest reportedly escalated as protesters moved towards key government buildings, including security agency offices. Lafiaji and neighboring communities have experienced several abductions in recent weeks, with multiple residents still being held captive. Families of the victims have reportedly paid substantial ransoms to secure the release of their loved ones.
Operatives of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission have arrested 74 suspected internet fraudsters in the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja. The suspects were apprehended today in Nyanya, a suburb of the capital city, following credible intelligence linking them to internet-related crimes. According to a statement by the EFCC spokesperson, Oluyole, items recovered during the operation include 86 mobile phones, a rifle, pistol, and 3 motorcycles. Oluyole added that the suspects would be arraigned in court upon the conclusion of ongoing investigations. Items recovered from them include 86 phones, 1 rifle, a pistol, and 3 motorcycles. They will be charged to court soon.
The Federal High Court in Abuja today declined to grant the bail application filed by 3 detained promoters of Scripture Bridge Exchange CBEX in the alleged over $1 billion fraud. Justice Emeka Nwite, in a ruling, held it was obvious that from the totality of the affidavit evidence of both parties, it was glaring that the character of evidence against the defendants is strong. Justice Nwite also held that due to the nature of the case, the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission (EFCC) obtained an order of remand of the defendants by a court of competent jurisdiction. The judge observed that at the time of the application for bail by the CBEX promoters, there was no charge formally filed against the applicants. He also observed that before the hearing of the instant application, a formal charge had already been filed against the defendants, waiting for assignment to a particular court of judge. The judge had on April 24 given the EFCC the go-ahead to arrest and detain 6 operators of CBEX over their involvement in the fraud. The 6 suspects include Adefowora Abiodun, Adefowora Oluwanishola, Emeka Oko, and Sheyi Oloyede. Others are Averozwa Oto Rudo and Chuku Ebuka Ehirim, and the first and 6th defendants respectively.
Having tax laws consolidated in one place will simplify explanations for citizens and make Nigeria a more attractive destination for investors, promoting transparency and clarity. Finance consultant Mr. Tunji Adepeju and finance economic expert Professor Hassan Fashino shared these insights on the new tax law during a discussion on the BCOS Current Affairs Breakfast Program AM 120. Our reporter Fedora Dwolagui, who monitored the program, brings details.
The new Nigerian tax law introduces reforms to boost revenue, simplify compliance, and promote investment, featuring consolidated tax status, progressive tax rates, and incentives for small businesses and essential goods, set to take effect from January 1, 2026. Discussing the new tax law, finance consultant Mr. Tunji Adepeju praised the government's bold move, describing it as a timely and necessary reform that will drive progress. He reiterated that the new tax law will benefit everyone, including artisans, traders, and individuals earning below 800,000 naira annually.
I want to applaud the present government for taking the bold step of redressing a lot of these things. You'll be surprised that some of the laws that are about to be repealed have been in existence even before our independence. And we've been just, do I use the word managing and managing? And quite a number of the provisions of some of the laws are even out of tune with modern age. So for the National Assembly to have processed the executive bills, I think it's a good one. And
also featuring on the program, finance and economic expert Professor Hassan Fashino explained that the new tax reform will streamline taxes in Nigeria, putting an end to multiple taxation. He emphasized that the new tax reform will yield significant benefits, including reduced hardship, increased revenue, enhanced economic growth, and widespread benefit for all stakeholders.
You know, it actually generated a lot of issues. Yes. In fact, to the extent that there are some people, there are some states that didn't want to look at even the good aspect of the tax law. So in order to save the, since it's still a federation, we need to give and take. So definitely most of the states that are very big and their consumption pattern is very high are changed, and they have taken it as big brothers. So that for the benefit of, since also that the rich will now pay more under this tax law, and it is to take care of the poor, since we are all human beings.
They urge Nigerians to familiarize themselves with the new tax law document, ensuring a thorough understanding of its provisions and implications. Fedora Afolagwe, BCOS News.
The People's Democratic Party, PDP, has commenced an expanded caucus meeting at its National Secretariat, Wadata Plaza, Abuja, after an earlier police siege at the venue. The expanded caucus meeting follows a closed-door meeting by the governors elected on the platform of the party at the Bauchi State Governor's Lodge in Asokoro, Abuja. The meeting had in attendance Governor Bala Mohammed of Bauchi State, Governor Sheyi Makinde of Oyo State, Governor Doye Diri of Bayelsa State, as well as former Senate President Bukola Saraki. Speaking to journalists, Governor Mohammed, who also chairs the PDP Governors Forum, addressed the earlier police presence at the Secretariat. He described the blockade as necessary to prevent miscreants from hijacking the meeting. Recall that the party had relocated its Board of Trustees BOT meeting from Wadata Plaza to the Aradua Center on Abuja's Central Business District, citing security concerns. The meeting of the Board of Trustees of the People's Democratic Party, earlier scheduled to hold by 10 a.m. at the party's National Secretariat in Abuja, had been moved to the Aradua Center, Central Business District, Abuja. The party had announced via its official handle on X, formerly Twitter. In a statement, its spokesperson Josephine Adda said officers were only deployed to maintain law and order, stating at no time was the Secretariat sealed off by the police. The events of Monday came amid lingering internal crisis within the PDP, particularly concerning the party's leadership and the position of National Secretary.
The All Progressives Congress has fixed its National Executive Committee meeting for July 24 in Abuja. This was announced by the APC Deputy National Secretary, Festus Funta, following the National Working Committee meeting held today in Abuja. The NEC meeting is expected to discuss and decide on a date for the elective National Convention, where a new national chairman and other party leaders will be elected.
Presidential candidate of the Labour Party in the 2023 presidential election, Peter Obi, has assured his supporters at home and abroad that he will be contesting the 2027 election and is willing to do a single 4-year term as president. He also dismissed speculations that he had discussed or had agreed to a joint ticket with former Vice President Atiku Abubakar. According to a statement signed by the spokesman of the Peter Obi Media Outreach, Ibrahim Umar, in Abuja today, Obi expressed these views while speaking on Sunday night when he appeared on X Space to answer questions from his numerous supporters. According to him, Obi acknowledged being involved in coalition talks because of his desire to rescue Nigeria from the drift by aligning with all patriotic Nigerians. He also urged Nigerians to see the need to rescue this country with him. On the situation in the Labour Party, Obi explained that he and several party leaders are working around the clock to get INEC to endorse the Nenadi Usman-led Labour Party based on the Supreme Court ruling.
No fewer than 50,000 Nigerians have tested positive for tuberculosis following the increased screening efforts nationwide, Global Fund, an international NGO, has said. The fund, however, said that many of those affected had yet to be placed on treatment, raising concerns about the country's ability to contain the disease and prevent further transmission. Mr. Ibrahim Tajuddin, Executive Secretary of the Global Fund Country Coordination Mechanism, CCM, in Nigeria, disclosed this today in Abuja. He spoke at the 11th quarterly meeting of the Ministerial Oversight Committee for the Basic Healthcare Provision Fund. Tajuddin said that the individuals were screened as part of the ongoing TB case-finding efforts supported by the government and donor partners. However, he said that a critical funding gap was now threatening to reverse the progress made.
This broadcast of Newscope comes to you from the Broadcasting Corporation of Oyo State, Ibadan. A 3-day training on the use of curated tablets for effective teaching and learning under the BESDA additional financing for transforming education systems at state level has commenced in Ibadan, the Oyo State capital. The training, which had participants including 31 UBEC, SUBEC, LGA officers and 85 school support officers, master trainers drawn from 22 local government areas across the state. Staff reporter Adebayo Abdurofi was at the opening session of the program.
The training was part of the federal government's efforts towards building strong institutional capacity for implementing Resort Area 2 of the BESDA AFTES program, which seeks to improve teaching practices and enhance learning outcomes in Oyo, Adamawa and Katsina states. Declaring the workshop open on behalf of the Oyo State Governor, Engineer Seyi Makinde, the Special Advisor to the Governor on Education, Mr. Suraj Tianiyu, said through the training, frontline officers are being empowered to become agents of transformation in every classroom and ensuring that every child is exposed to foundation to thrive. He noted that the program is in line with the education reform agenda of the present administration in the state, which had witnessed recruitment of several thousands of teachers, investment in schools infrastructure, as well as enhancing teachers' training.
The impact is the quality educations that will be training our SSO to train our teachers to pass their experience to our pupils. So in order for them to improve their literacy, numeracy, and also to improve their education.
The National Program Coordinator BESDA AFTES, Mr. Oluyole stated that the training is tailored towards promoting a structured pedagogy program anchored on digital and print-based self-study modules, coaching mechanisms, and standardized formative assessments to improve learning outcomes. He stressed that the training will equip the participants with critical knowledge on the program's operational framework, implementation strategies, and their institutional responsibilities in monitoring and supporting delivery at the school level.
The three states that are involved in this additional financing, we call them OYOSTATE, Oyo, Adamawa and Katsina. And these states were selected based on the data that was presented and also looking at the education sector plans that they already prepared, and also see that where they can also bring the out-of-school children back to school.
Welcoming the participants earlier, the chairman, OYOSTATE, Dr. Nureni Adenona, who was represented by the Monitoring and Evaluation Officer in the Commission, Mr. Teslim Fadomi, said the program is another milestone in the development and improvement of basic education in the state and the country as a whole. High point of the opening session was the distribution of tablets to the participants. Adebayo Abdurofi, BCOS News.
To mark the end of Q1 2025 free medical mission organized by the state government, Tuesday, 1st of July 2025 has been allocated for state civil public servants. According to a circular signed by the Secretary to the State Government, Professor Lanike Adeyemo, the exercise is scheduled to hold at the State Secretariat Staff Clinic, Agodi, starting by 8 a.m. In order to have a seamless process, sitting arrangements have been made for the program, with Stand 1 located at the entrance of the Secretariat Staff Clinic, serving as registration and vital signs monitoring point, while Stand 2, located directly behind the Secretariat Staff Clinic, shall take care of breast examination, cervical screening, and dental services. Stand 3, situated at the car park of the Ministry of Information, shall be the waiting point for physiotherapy, while Stand 4, designated as the medical consultation point, is located in front of the Ministry of Youth and Sports. Stand 5, according to the release, is a store premises designated for pharmacy and laboratory investigations. Meanwhile, another circular from the Office of the State Head of Service noted that the exercise would also involve high blood pressure, blood sugar tests, and joint would-be beneficiaries of the medical outreach to come fasting so as to have accurate test results.
In commemoration of our 2 years in office, the member representing Ibadan's North Constituency 1 of the OYOSTATE House of Assembly, Honorable Comforter Oluyole, extended financial support to victims of recent fire incidents in the constituency. The landlord received 300,000 naira, while other affected residents were given 100,000 naira each as part of the compensation package. Additionally, traders' 15 shops of poor building were destroyed in a separate fire incident near the constituency office at Yemetu earlier this year had received 100,000 naira each as part of the relief package. Presenting the financial support, Honorable Comforter Oluyole expressed appreciation to the Oyo State Governor, Engineer Seyi Makinde, for providing enabling atmosphere for legislative members in the state are effectively representing their respective constituency. Honorable Oluyole said the gesture was aimed at supporting the victims' recovery and reaffirming her commitment to the welfare of our constituents. Congratulating Honorable Comforter Oluyole on her 2 years in office, the Deputy Chief of Staff to Governor Seyi Makinde, Honorable Fola Oyekunle, commended the lawmaker for her thoughtful gesture in supporting the fire victims. Some of the beneficiaries expressed their gratitude to the lawmaker, thanking her for being compassionate and supportive in easing their burden.
Spain and Portugal reported temperatures today as Spain and Portugal reported record temperatures today as Italy and France braced for several more days of a punishing heat wave that has gripped southern Europe and Britain, sparking health and wildfire warnings. The summer's first major heat wave has seen authorities in the countries along the Mediterranean's northern coast urging people to seek shelter and protect the most vulnerable. Firefighters were also on standby after blazes broke out on Sunday in France, Turkey and Italy, fed by the heat and strong winds. Cities are offering different ways of staying cool, from free swimming pools in Marseille to free guided tours for the elderly in air-conditioned museums in Venice. Temperatures in southern Spain soared to 43 degrees Celsius, which is 115 degrees Fahrenheit, on Saturday, a new record for June, the National Weather Agency said today.
To end Newscope, here again are the main points. The federal government has called for stronger regional collaboration to turn Africa's international borders from flashpoints of conflict into platforms for peace, economic development, and integration.
Operatives of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, have arrested 74 suspected internet fraudsters in the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja.
A 3-day training on the use of curated tablets for effective teaching and learning under the best additional financing for transforming education system at state levels has commenced in Ibadan, the Oyo State capital.
Spain and Portugal reported record temperatures today as Italy and France brace for several more days of a punishing heat wave that has gripped southern Europe and Britain, sparking health and wildfire warnings.
And that's all from Newscope Desk for now. It was packaged by Bode Akinjola and delivered by Oluyole Olatubosun and
Olukemi Ajayi. Thank you for joining us, and don't forget to tune in for the Yoruba version at 8 p.m. Good evening.
You ètò ìlera nípìnlẹ̀ Ọ̀yọ́ ló ń gbèrú sí i pẹ̀lú akitiyan ètò ìjọba ọlọ́lá jùlọ gómìnà Olúṣèyí Abíọ́dún Mákindé láti pàṣẹ iléeṣẹ́ elétò ìlera ìpínlẹ̀ yìí ní kó àwọn èwe tí ń dọ̀rọ̀ tàn síbẹ̀ ìgbìyànjú iléeṣẹ́ elétò ìlera ń tẹ̀síwájú láfi rán àwọn ìyálọ́mọ létí wípé bọ́mọ oṣù mẹ́fà lẹ́yìn oúnjẹ omi ọyàn pọ̀nbélé àwọn oúnjẹ aṣaralóore alápòpọ̀ mashed foods la máa fún wọn jẹ pẹ̀lú àfikún omi ọyàn àwọn oúnjẹ bíi ẹyin ẹja èso ewébẹ̀ ẹ̀wà ẹ̀pà sóyà ìrẹsì àgbàdo iṣu àtàwọn míì àwọn oúnjẹ wọ̀nyí ló kún fún okun